Okay, let's get started. All right. Welcome everybody back to The Broken Investor. I am Crypto Antonio and I love silver. Before we get started, just want to say I'm so sorry for the video from last night. We uploaded a 2025 Outlook video and we tried doing a live stream with the new gear and it turned out not as I expected. It was very choppy, not a fun to look at. 27 minutes of great information if you ask me, but just not a pleasant thing to look at. So if you do get through that video, I'm sorry for the choppiness. We're going to do things a little bit differently. We're working on this. So before we get started, nothing you see here is financial advice. Please do your own research on any project, trade, coin, asset, blockchain, token, etc. I am not a financial advisor. This is only for entertainment purposes only. Okay, today, right off the bat, we're going to get into start investing now. We're in a new year, right? It's time to, if you're not already doing it, it's time to start. And if you're watching this content, it's because you're probably broke and you want to be an investor. Hence, you're at The Broke Investor. So you don't need a lot of money to get started in investing. You do need a plan, and you do need B, a little bit of discipline. Okay, that's really all you need. So the reasons I'm getting into this is because, I know lots of people that want to get started into this, but they're stopping themselves, and they stop themselves because they're not sure what they need to do to get started or what to do. They're scared of losing money. They're feeling overwhelmed by the research that has to be done. They think they don't have enough money to invest, or that they're waiting for the right time to invest. And I'll tell you right now, I can shoot every single one of those out of the water. If you're unsure what to do, you just need to sit down and think about what you want to invest in and a plan for that money. Because, if you have a savings account, you typically have a plan for that money. Or maybe it's just a rainy day, or maybe you're going to use your investments as your savings account because it's really hard to save in dollars. So at least getting those ideas going or out of the way or on paper or in your mind are going to be a good starting point for you. The fact of getting scared to lose money, you know what? There's nothing to be scared of there, because we spend so much money in our daily lives on things we don't need. We spend so much capital on things that are useless and things we basically throw away, or we spend it. We spend money doing things that don't value our time or our money. How if you went through your bank statement, how much money are you spending on alcohol, recreation, not recreation, entertainment, sports tickets, concert tickets, vacations. Don't get me wrong, vacations are great, but do you need to go on more than maybe 1 or 2 a year? Do you? And if you are, you're probably in a better place anyway. But if you're not in a good place and you're not investing, why are you not investing? And you have to look at those things, right? Feeling overwhelmed, that's understandable because there's a lot of things to understand and to maybe pick up. But you know what the craziest thing is about that, about feeling overwhelmed, is we overwhelm ourselves with thinking that we have to know so much about money and investments and markets. And the truth is, you really don't. You really don't. The people that just have the discipline to put the money into the investment over a long period of time are usually the ones that end up making the most gains and coming out ahead, because they're just consistent. And that's what this is really about, is just being consistent. You're never going to know when the top or the bottom is, or when the best time to get into the market is. If you're really good, you might have indications of when to get in, but generally we don't. So just being consistent, you're going to go through the highs and the lows of the market, and as long as you have a plan for your investment and you're consistent, you will win. So there's nothing really to be scared about over losing money, because if you stick with it and you do it over time, you're going to come out on top. Even if there is, a massive correction, and let's say your investment goes down by, let's say, 50-60%. If you just keep going and you keep doing what you're doing over your period of time, you're still going to win, right? And so there's never a good time, there's never a right time, and we can never know when the market's going to top or bottom. But as long as we're consistent, we'll get there. I think those are really the main things that stop people. It's a new year, so I think it's good to get those ideas into your head and get those ideas processing and those thoughts kind of moving around. Of course, you don't need a lot of money, and of course, we talk about Bitcoin and silver here the most because I feel those are assets that you can buy in fractional amounts. You can buy $20 of Bitcoin. You can buy $20 of silver. Silver today, I think, was $29.55 US. So you can buy half an ounce of silver. There's half an ounce out there. You can buy less than half an ounce of silver. You don't need a lot of money to get started. Bitcoin had an all-time high of $108,000. Today, it's about $97,000. You don't need $97,000 US to start investing. You can buy $20 of Bitcoin. You can buy $10 of Bitcoin. So these assets can be fractionalized. You don't need to buy, if you wanted to buy a share of, I don't know, let's say Tesla. Do you have that money? Can you do it? Can you buy one stock of Tesla? Or do you have to buy so many stocks of Tesla? With these assets, we'll talk about stocks later in other videos, but with silver and Bitcoin, they're fractional amounts. You don't need a lot of money. All you need is the discipline to keep buying it and to have the discipline to have a plan and stick with it, because you can start investing. Let's say you're investing, let's just say $20 a week, or even, let's say $50 a week. You're investing $50 a week, and if all of a sudden you see something shiny and new, and like some concert tickets, and you want to go out and buy those concert tickets with your investment, you've lost your ability to grow that money because you've cashed it out to go be entertained. So you have to have the discipline to stick to your plan and the discipline to keep doing it. Right? I was going to get into this. Also, you have to kind of look at yourself and really identify what you're procrastinating over. I've given you some very quick common ones there, but there's sometimes more. Sometimes we feel pressure by family or friends to either to invest or to not invest because somebody's uncle invested in something and he lost a lot of money. Therefore, that fear, uncertainty, and doubt is going to get put on you to not get into the asset class you want or to not invest however you see fit. I've had plenty of people tell me that with Bitcoin. Oh, well, it's basically people saying to you, we're uneducated, we don't know, therefore you shouldn't be educated and stay away so you can not make the mistake person X made by not being educated. And that's just malarkey, it's just not real. It's just, again, it goes back to figuring out why you're not doing it, figuring out what you want to put your money into, what you're interested in. Here, it's mostly silver and Bitcoin we're talking about. Crypto, precious metals, that's generally what we like to cover. There's lots more to talk about, and we will talk about it. But that's, pick your thing, find out why you're scared, and just start. It doesn't matter. Even if you started buying, let's say you started buying Bitcoin at $108,000 right now, like when it was at the peak last month, you would be down on your investment. But if you keep putting money into your investments, consistency, your $50 a week, $20 a week, eventually when the market turns around, you will see a profit. Your investment will go up in value because you are buying as it goes down, which is increasing how much per dollar you're buying, your dollar cost averaging. So even though the market's going down and it feels like your portfolio is shrinking, you are accumulating more at a lesser price, which when the market turns around will yield a profit. So again, consistency and discipline. Big ones, big ones, big ones. And yeah, I really think that's it. I don't think there's much more to it. I think you really just gotta, get your goals, get your amount, get your timeline, check out what your plan is, find out a plan, and then check out what your evaluate what your risk tolerance is. Are you willing to go into Bitcoin? Can you stomach volatility? Can you go into something that will go up, 20% in a day and then go down 30% in a day? Is that something? Or maybe in a week now, it's not so volatile as it used to be. But do you have the stomach or the psychology to get through that? If not, maybe you should look at something else. Maybe the precious metals would be a little more your thing because you don't know how to deal with volatility, right? That's another big one, is finding out what your risk tolerance is. And ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter what asset you go into or how volatile it is, if you keep going, when the market turns, you will yield a profit. Now, not to say that there are not black swan events, because sometimes, things happen and sometimes things never recover. But then again, that goes back to your planning and picking what you want to invest in. That's why I picked these two assets, because I feel they are growing and they are so in demand that I'm expecting it in the long run to go up in value. I can't say the same thing about a company or a stock, because when you're buying stock of a company, you're buying into a business model, you're buying into the leadership team, the management team, you're also maybe buying into the corporate planning. There's a lot of factors that go into it, right? So, and it might not even be, the stock might not even perform adequately to how the business operates. Like, there's a lot more going on there, right? But some people, that's their thing. And of course, figuring out your options for getting started on your investing. Are you going to do it, let's see, silver? Are you going to the coin shop, buying an ounce every payday, or a couple ounces, a few ounces, whatever, every payday? Is it every week? Is it every month? And or are you buying from the bank? Or are you going to silver and coin shows and buying it there? It's figuring out where you're going to get it from. And of course, with Bitcoin, how are you going to invest with Bitcoin? Are you going to buy spot on an exchange? Are you going to have the exchange hold it for you? Are you going to self-custody in a cold wallet? Are you going to buy the Bitcoin ETF through BlackRock? Are you going to, or one of the other companies offering Bitcoin ETFs, are you going to buy Bitcoin miner stocks? Are you going to buy precious metals mining stocks? There's a lot of options. So